Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. Uh, Today we're going to be talking a bit about the future outlook of Pokemon. So I've been looking at some of the data, talking with some friends, seeing what direction Pokemon, the company, has been going. I'm here to kind of give you my take of what I'm planning to do in the future, investing wise. Uh, the big idea is I am a investor. For reference, I do not have a storefront. I do not sell Pokemon. I'm not going to try to shill you the product that I have loaded up in the back of my store and say, oh, this is a great investment. Even though YouTubers say they won't do that, you can never trust them. They possibly will. Um, but yeah, so I just buy some sets I like, hold them for a bit, and hopefully make some profits in the future. But today I kind of want to go into a bit of the data that we've been seeing so far, the future outlook of some of the sets coming up, and if there's any value in investing in these sets and what I would suggest overall. So the biggest thing is we've been seeing a huge decline in the amount of printing per set, so the actual amount of cards in each set. So it doesn't mean that Pokemon is changing their print amount, so we'll still see a similar amount of product, but these smaller sets means that there will be more repeats of these cards as they're printed more. So even as if they're changing, of course, the pull rates, it means we're just going to see a lot more duplicates. We're going to see a lot more higher pops with PSA, and it's just going to generally drive the value down of the set value of the cards in a set. And you can see over here in SV we had around 200 cards, well above 200 cards per set, and this includes the secret rares. Whereas for ME, the only outlier is being Ascended Heroes and a bit of ME1, but ME2, 3, 4 are all looking down, so well below 150, which has not been seen before. Even in all Sword and Shield, we had around well above 200 cards in the sets. One thing I did want to note, which I thought was interesting, is that Celebrations was a small set, which is part of the reason why Celebrations sat at very low pricing for 4 years, and until this last year, a year before anniversary, the set pumped up. So I want to warn you that if the 30th is looking like a small set, it will pump at first. And because it will be a small set, Pokemon can print tons, millions of cards, billions maybe, probably millions of cards, and the price will drop because everyone will be grading it. Everyone will be pumping these into PSA. There will be no chance for bad cards to be generated. They will all be graded. So I would highly warn you. The cards will be pretty good, I expect, but I just want to put that out there. Additionally, I did some data analysis on the booster boxes. So looking at booster box price over time, since the release of a set, you can see that as the market has changed, so this was back in 2024, I pulled the data from, I believe, TCG Player and latest sales. You can see that everything is pretty reflective of the price jump. So the biggest spike over there being Evolving Skies, but you can see that the general trend has followed. So the orange and green is only about a 2-month difference, so not much between those. But you can see back in 2024, end of 2024, beginning 2025, you can see that Lost Origin already had a bit of a spike up. Silver Tempest was not doing as well since it was printed quite a lot. And some of these sets, overall the curves tend to match. So that in some sense you could say the percent gains tends to match, and that is the biggest thing as investors, is we should really be caring about percent gains and not dollar signs. And earning the best percent gains is our overall goal. So one thing that I've been doing recently with this current run up is actually trading in some of my lower, less liquid products that I got for still decent pricing, close to MSRP, and trading them in for higher liquid future products. So for example, if you have like any poster collections, you may be trading those in for an ETB. If you have Temporal Forces from Scarlet Violet, you might want to trade that in for something like Destined Rivals or Prismatic 151. While you will be probably taking a haircut of a loss a bit, or at least trading 10% below the market, um, because every transaction you're going to be most likely, unless you have a very good source or a storefront on eBay, every trade or sale, you'll most likely be taking a little bit of a haircut, whether it be 5% or 20% at some storefront or tabling. So I would highly recommend, though, doing that now at least once for any acquired product where you can lock in some of that profit for the better sets. And you're going to be thanking yourself later when considering liquidity in the future. People are going to want ETBs and booster boxes and potentially booster bundles as well. So I would highly recommend make yourself happy in the future buying those high liquidity products now, and you don't have to worry about liquidity in the future. Now, looking at some of the top 5 sets, well, the first 5 sets of Mega Evolutions, we've seen some of the cards released, had some time for the market to adjust and price in everything accordingly. I think it's been quite a roller coaster in the printing with staggered releases of product like Ascended Heroes, and of course the huge drop off of Perfect Order initially has been really interesting to see. But overall, I've kind of ranked a bit of where I see the market currently holding out of these top 5 sets. KS Rising, of course, is not out yet, but I think that Greninja is quite good. I actually really like the gold Greninja card, even though I'm not currently much of a Greninja fan. I know, crazy. But yeah, I think Ascended Heroes is going to be one of the best sets. The floor right now of $100 per ETB is actually pretty reasonable, and I think if the price ever does fall, people will swoop in to pick it up. It will be printed a ton. It may drop down to $70, but I still think $70, $60, that will be a very good pickup to buy a couple cases here and there. Phantasmal has done insanely well, and I think it is the gambler's fallacy where it has one of the strongest chase cards. I would say in the Mega Block, it might be the best card in the Mega Block to date. The only thing to beat a Charizard would be another Charizard, and they would have to go insane with they'd probably have to come out with a tag team Mega Charizard versus Mega Rayquaza. Knock on wood if that occurs. You heard it here first, folks. But overall, though, yeah, Ascended Heroes, Phantasmal Flames, Perfect Order has been Perfect Orders has been a bad set, but KS Rising I think could be a number 3, at least in these top 5. Mega Evolutions has been quite interesting. The card sets are very well done, and they're decently recognized Pokemon, but people have not seen value. And I think that's part of the challenge in this market is we're starting to see a oversaturation in good SIR and IR cards that it's devaluing pretty decent cards. And so it's almost like there's too much of good stuff floating around. Maybe that's just my perspective of the cards, but I still think I do like a lot of those cards in the Mega Evolution set. It is a base set. It does have the stamped Bulbasaur that has a very low gem rate, so it might be good to pick up some booster boxes if you have a chance. But yeah, that might be a sleeper, but the overall market says it's not the best. So, but yes, Ascended Heroes, Phantasmal Flames, those are going to be great pickups over the next year as they come out with more printing. And then we get the next 4 potential sets coming out. Abyssal Eye, Storm Emerald, the 30th anniversary, and Aura Seeker, with these potential Pokemon leading the charge. And me personally, as an investor, I'm really looking towards the pull rates. If we have really hard pull rates, while people hate it, it actually helps as an investor because it guarantees that the cards being pulled in the set will be of high value. Of course, the second half of that supply equation is demand, so it will need to be a good card. And so that's why I really want to see what these Abyssal Eye and Storm Emerald cards that come out and if they're unique. I think some of the best cards in the Pokemon TCG space are unique cards, such as the Tag Team cards, such as Prime cards, Level X cards. The list goes on and on. As long as with the certain gimmick that Pokemon puts on these cards at times, it can really make or break a set. And Aura Seekers, will be interesting to see as well what comes out from this. But then, of course, having a recognizable Pokemon, this is one of the reasons why I think Ascended Heroes is actually going to be a great set. It has two Pikachus, which is so recognizable towards the whole market. Anything with the classic 151 or very popular Pokemon, it is going to do well long term, as long as there's something that people can cling on to. Additionally, some of these are less required, but a set theming is always great to see. So if these sets come out and a lot of the Pokemon have either combined artworks or there is generally a color scheme, the best one I think of is Fusion Strike, had a really great merging of colors in the set, and a very good theme overall of the Gengars and Mews and such, and Celebi as well. And then, of course, harder gem rates. If these sets, it doesn't necessarily make or break a set, but it is a good plus if the quality of cards is not that good and people need that PSA 10. That makes it a good set. Hence, look at all of SV. The gem rates started out at around 30%. They've been slowly going back up to 50%. That is one of my biggest fears with Ascended Heroes. We have a gem rate of around 70%. And so that PSA premium is not going to hold for a lot of these better printed sets. But we will see. So let me know your thoughts on like future sets, what you're looking to buy in the future if it's available. Of course, best place to get it is MSRP by all means, but MSRP has been dead, it seems, for a while. But yeah, let me know your hyped thoughts on which set you're interested in the future and if there's anything I missed. But yeah, have a good one.